honored to be asked.
In the meantime, right now, we're going to have, I'm going to be joined. I'm out of order. So right now, we're going to hear from Dr. Gandhi and his son. And he is a transplant recipient from Chicago, Dr. Gandhi is. And he received his transplant from his son, Meetal. So I'm going to ask you to join me.
Hey.
And they're going to share with us their experience of creating their story to find a living donor. And at the end, we're going to have some time for some Q&A. So, Dr. Gandhi, tell us about what led you here.
I've been already about 70 age, but then I got some sickness, ended up in Advocate Condon Hospital, and they did workup, and I found out that I had pneumonia. And ended up getting an unbelievable amount of antibiotics, and all those antibiotics probably gradually got me to my kidney problem. And once they decided something wrong with my kidney, I went back to see my primary physician. And he said, "You are sick, something is wrong with you." Ended up back in the emergency room and ended up with about potassium of 8. And that's the time I ended up back with hemodialysis, 3 treatments in the hospital, and then was given dialysis every other day for next six and a half months. And then a friend of mine is a GI person, and him and Dr. Enrico know each other. They were good friends, and then my friend referred me to him to Illinois and says, "Go and see him now. I don't want you to sit and wait here." So we made an appointment the same day. I was in his clinic and go and see the doctor here. And he says, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Here are the numbers I have." And they checked it out and found out, "Oh, something is wrong with you. You need a kidney transplant." And then I said, "How the heck am I going to do kidney transplant?" He said, "You have to find a donor." And then all family of mine went for testing to see who's going to be best match in a way. My wife and 2 daughters, and then my son was the only one that said, "Oh, he's the best one match for me." And that's how I ended up being at University of Illinois. I've been practicing general vascular surgery for the last 30 years. And I said, I'm going to be a new patient. A bad patient, to be honest. I tell my wife that, "Boy, I'm complaining still as of today. Morning and night, I have to go through all this 40 pills every day." But gradually being cut down in a way, so it makes it easier, but that they have continued maybe how long. But yesterday was my first outing out of the house, and I'm planning to see if I can travel further out. Go and visit the Philippines and India if I can next year. My son is one donator.
So that's wonderful. So, what was the story, or what was the impetus behind you helping your father? What part about his story?
Well, being that we're here talking about the story, I've been based in Australia for the last decade, and when I found out the news of him and his kidney failure, my immediate thought was, of course, I'm going to donate. It wasn't even a question. But what was really interesting is that when I came back home and I went through that whole process to try and figure out if I would be a match or not, meeting with all the nephrologists and transplant team and coordinators and advocates and social workers and dietitians, the whole gambit. And then only recently realizing what he just said, that I didn't even know that 4 other people had already offered to donate their kidney, and I thought that I was the only one. But my mom, my sister, and my other sister, they all had offered. None of them were a match. And even our 98-year-old grandmother offered her century-old kidney to me. And she just passed, and that was earlier in the year, in March. And what my dad is talking about going to the Philippines is that her last dying wish was for us to deliver her ashes back to the Philippines in her homeland. And so my dad just now recently had an opportunity to travel to Houston. It was a good testing ground for him to have an opportunity to travel to the Philippines, which is finally booked. And so the trip to Houston was to visit his brother, who just had a stroke and is on his last days of life. But in that process, being able to also find out that our cousin, if you guys look her up, it's really cool. She, if you look up Jane Houston kidney donation, she donated her kidney to a 2-year-old infant boy, just somebody that she didn't even know. And so I think the ultimate thing behind this all is that there's a story, and even though I was thinking we might not be the best suited to be speaking right here because we're a family, but the thing is that if you just start talking about it, and the more people that know about it, now that I'm in this world of kidney donation, I had never really previously had any understanding about what this whole situation is like. But now that you're in it, I've met so many people that have donated a kidney. I've met so many people that are willing to donate a kidney. I've had friends that have come forward to me that said that they also wanted to donate their kidney. So I just look forward to being a resource for anybody to utilize my network. If anybody ever here has a desire for a kidney, which there are, feel free to get in touch with me and also my dad, because there's definitely altruistic people out there that are willing to donate their kidney. And when I came back from Australia to do this whole process, and only a few months later go under the knife, I wasn't even nervous at all. I think the most nervous thing that I had about this process was having the catheter being removed. But yeah, that's a little bit of my story.
Dr. Gandhi, how did you feel when you were sharing your story or having all these people come forward to you? How did you feel about having to share with
To be honest with you, let me put it this way. I never knew I would be ending up with a kidney transplant. And while I was getting my hemodialysis, I said, how long am I going to live on hemodialysis? And I said, it lasted for 6 months. Then I said, boy, this is not what life is going to be. And I figured out a different way. So I then look at donation from somebody, and that's what I'm talking about. And then got information about all this donation from different people and reading in the articles about it. See, okay, some way to do about it.
Thank you for sharing that. And we look forward to hearing more from you and your son later in the program, okay? And in addition to this example, we've included some other patient stories in your handouts that you can use as examples. And so the Gandhi family is an excellent example of how it is that you can find a living donor. And what did you guys hear that was included in their story? And what key points or important information was shared? Anybody?
Having a conversation with your family.
Having a conversation, right? Telling your story, sharing your story. And what did everybody hear entail the son? What did you hear? What was important to you that your important takeaway from what he said?
Yeah, he wasn't afraid.
Right? And how about that other people, now that he's in the community, now others, he's a resource. Okay? So he's gonna be here too so that you guys can speak with him more. And what do you think made his message work?
Makes you think about it, really.
That makes you think about it, right? that you guys, anybody here, that might, we should think about it? Pam?
This message works for me because I would have never posted about it. I just spoke with someone about this again. I never posted on social media. You actually had me in something. And so, then people started asking, yeah, I didn't know you had kids with you. I didn't know. So now, I realize that that's the key of actually helping. If people don't know, they can't help, they can't help. So I think sometimes the fear is the fear of the unknown. So that's very helpful for me, knowing that you just have to do it.
Right.
And you think about it, just do it.
People don't know, they don't know what you need and how they can help, so it's important. And one of the things that he put in his story was the ask, right? And so you have to ask people what you need. They need to know what it is that you need and what you want and how they can help. And sometimes that's hard for a lot of people. And like you said, Pam, being vulnerable, being honest, being open about your story, that's really hard. So this is why we want to consider donating and sharing your story. And there is a knack, and I don't know if it's just me, but
Go through the process, they'll really come to that realization how much of a gift it is to give and to donate. I can't think of a better gift in the world to be able to give life.
It's difficult to say that you don't have the kid. You cannot tell them bluntly, oh, this is my problem. So they just listen and share about it. That's what you're going to do. You just continue with your treatment as you are going through modalities treatments.
so when I lost my hair, I was embarrassed, but my daughter was like, hey mom, take a picture, you're still beautiful. Things like that make a big difference that you don't realize. I had my fistula, I had it removed. I celebrated that I got it out.
Also hoping to just move as much as possible on that flight to be able to combat any of the things that may happen where there's blood constriction flow and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Woke up and within
Of course, I'm sorry. I thought we shut it off.
within 15 minutes of
I just
waking
like
up,
attention, sorry.
they wheeled me towards to my room, and on the way we stopped by him, and just seeing him alive and well with a smile on his face, and just knowing that he has many more years to live now. It was painful the first few days, but and into the week, very painful because I had a cough, so that aggravated the pain a lot more. But I also look at that as a blessing. I look at that as an opportunity to be able to really understand what it's like for people that have mobility issues, and people that live their life every single day in pain, and have that much more appreciation for how much pain some people go through, because post-surgery pain after a major organ surgery can be quite a lot. And not a lot of people experience that kind of pain in their life, I think. But to be able to empathize with all those people that live it on an everyday basis, I don't think there's anything better for a human to be able to experience what it's like, or what people go through every day, and then to be able to recover and to be able to live a normal life.
Something to go through. You learn a lot, right?
Absolutely.
But I complain, me being a surgeon, do you have enough narcotic medications to the patient? In this operation, you get the Tylenol, and that was the end. So I bitched at the nurses. Out of fear, if I don't get the shot today, so I called what you call the anesthesia doctor, who was supposed to be. I said, you don't give me, I'm going to kick somebody's body. Because I know pain, surgery, and you have to take care of the pain. If I have pain, how the heck am I going to survive here? So that was one of the big things. I had the problem in the recovery room and in the ICU. So I say, I'm not going to listen to you guys. You think that this Tylenol will do the job? Otherwise, I'm not going to listen here, or I'm going to walk out of here. That was the thing I had to make big.
UIC is, we don't use the narcotics, and I know Delilah, I had to call because she was up there raising all kinds of.
And what happens if, say, they don't improve, or say they don't appreciate life? And I think that's one of the biggest things for a kidney donor, is that you have to come to full acceptance of whatever will be, no matter what the situation is. That you should never have any expectation, and that you should be doing this out of your own accord. And I think for me, the easiest thing was donating. I think one of the most difficult things was, for the past couple of years, with all of his health issues with my mom and my sister, they're the ones that took out all of that completely sacrificed their lives. My sister lives in Thailand and France, and she came home for 2 years to help out with my family. And so in my mind, they're the real heroes throughout this all. I flew home from Australia to donate a kidney, and I'm good now. But they sacrificed all of their life and their time to be able to allow myself to just come in and donate a kidney. So I think it's really the people that sacrifice their time and their lives, who aren't necessarily donating, who are also the real heroes.
Thank you so much for transparently sharing your story. And we're so glad that you're doing well. We're not going to get you back in the OR.
I had really boring 2 truths and a lie answers, and I just figured, you know what, let's make it interesting. Why not?
And Chris, my husband, stand up. In November of 18, he donated. What encouraged you?
Why not? It was just an opportunity to give her a few more years, so why not?
Like, can you share with me your story?
Yeah, definitely. So it kind of came to be, I saw a tweet from someone about their aunt needing a kidney, and they mentioned that they were O positive, and I was like, wait, so does that mean I can donate my kidney to someone? Because I really never was aware that that was a possibility.
Yeah.
I knew living donors can be like siblings and parents and things like that, but it was really just the awareness of a normal person can do this that got my attention. And so I feel like a lot of people don't understand that it's more of an education thing. If you cast that net out, you'll find someone who sees it and thinks, wait, can I do this? Wait, is this something I can do? Or someone who's already actively looking or interested and wants to participate and just doesn't know where to start. It's just all about, again, casting that net, trying to find someone who's interested, spreading the resources needed to potential living donors, and even if there's someone, like we had talked about the donation swap, so if there's someone who's interested in donating to you but isn't a match, trying to find another pair that is going through the same thing and can help each other out. There's just a lot of options when you expand the reach that you're going for, when you are not just waiting for a deceased donor, when you're not just hoping that a family member is a match, when you're kind of just expressing when you need help. And that's kind of the most important part when you're looking for a living kidney donor. It's just you have to talk to someone, you have to find it, you have to go out and work for it.
Yeah. That's so inspiring. Thank you for your selfless act of kindness.